all right. I love that music. It really gets you, going. And every time I'm not watching intro, I can visualize the old intro in my head, and I just see me there with that weird look on my face, standing next to Representative Carolina Amnesty. I think all my looks in the old promo, uh, it's kind of weird. But anyway, hey, you can't make this shit up. David Washington, Dan DeSero, Joel Hawksley, and our producer, John DeMaria. I still screwed it up. Jesus. D. Maria. There you go. I get a little ethnic with it. So what do we have here, Joel?
What we have here today is we have a decline in the Republican resolve behind Governor Ron DeSantis. So we're going to discuss, we haven't discussed the 2024 campaign very much since the last time. So we're bringing back old wounds for the poor governor.
And I promise our audience that I will stop talking about this campaign. However, what I did state in one of my past comments earlier this year was that as soon as the sharks smell blood in the water, they're going to start circling this campaign. And it looks like, based on this conversation, it's happening, or at least it's happening in this particular situation with the DeSantis campaign and this article that we got this information from.
Now, I think the political article might be a little bit too premature, especially after last night's debate and watching and just watching the Twitter and the Reddit social media responses. A lot of that gaining momentum here in Florida, but that's just something that I think, and based on the social media buzz on stage, the winner of Fox Business Republican debate last night was actually Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He had 170,000 mentions, and also he was the most popular candidate on the Reddit with over 2,000 upvotes on his posts, and that was not that social media does makes any determination, but that's a huge improvement when you say where he was before.
You're right. Social media is not really a good indicator of a political campaign or a political candidate and their chances of winning. Kudos to DeSantis and his campaign for moving forward with their campaign and trying a different strategy. I think, as I was stating earlier in the morning off camera, is that DeSantis has a good way of talking to potential voters and with passion, with a lot of vitriol and generalities. However, when you sparse what he says, when you take a closer look at some of the things he says about certain topics, it leaves you with concern. At one point, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to war with Mexico. We're going to war with Mexico in his vitriol against the Mexican cartels, in his crusade against this so-called wokeness. It's frightening, the forcefulness behind his comments, and then of course the abortion bans that he's pushing. It seems to be all or nothing with Ron DeSantis. Would this performance during the recent GOP primary debates propel him? No. I still know that Donald Trump will be the nominee. I said no, not think or believe or feel, but no, he will be. There's certain constants in our universe. And the data, the science, the actions of all these candidates and of Trump shows that he will be the nominee.
Well, I can't say that for sure because I'm a praying man, and I believe that life could end at any second. So I want to be prepared. So there is no guarantee that tomorrow is guaranteed. So uh, I have to say that. But as far as where you're going, I'm pretty sure he will be the nominee if all things continue to trend Trump. So, and that's where they seem to be right now. Dan, what are you doing? You're gonna give me an earful? Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I actually I partially agree with both of you. I'm fascinated to hear that DeSantis came out on top in terms of some of the social media aspects. My initial response, as I said yesterday, was that I felt like he was the winner, and if that's reflected on social media, I think that's a reflection of how the younger generation feels about it. Um, but my biggest thing yesterday was his ability to take control at the end and say, you know what, we're not gonna be the cast of Lost. And I think his ability to stand up to the media is what won me over last night at the very end. I think that was an irresponsible question, and I think that his ability to stand up and to say, you know what, he took charge on a stage full of leaders, and I think that's what set him apart last night, and maybe why we're seeing a spike in media. But I also agree with David that it's not going to matter because right now Trump's just running away with it. So
Yeah, I mean,
DeSantis is way too much baggage, way too much policy that is out there that's being challenged in court. His own party here in Florida, again, they're circling the wagons. They see that their governor is in trouble, and you know, some of them are outwardly advocating for themselves to be the next
now,
governor.
now,
Or
David, I sat in a room with a whole bunch of Republicans for the statesman's
okay,
dinner, and that is not the feeling. The feeling is Donald Trump has a lead, but the feeling is that we have the winning candidate here in Florida. And it doesn't matter what's moving forward. We win. Republicans are winning in Florida. We have two of the best candidates coming out of Florida. The only person who can lead us in the nomination process is going to be from Florida. So I don't see in that room the same thing that this article kind of talks about. It's more of a you can like Donald Trump, you can like the governor, but please don't talk negative about either one. Because if you start attacking DeSantis, uh, you lose some people. If you start attacking Trump, you lose people. We're coalescing that we know that we have the best leaders here in the state. I think that's the party mentality. Gruters, who used to lead the charge, is a Trump supporter. And you have Ziegler, who's not really shown anything, but you can tell he's
he's on
supporting
the
the
fence.
governor. Right? So he's supporting the
He
governor.
said publicly he is supporting both.
But right. But when you look at that, it's Gruters is pushing the Trump agenda, right? So to get these things, we've had some changes in our loyalty oath and stuff like that because it kind of leaned towards towards the governor, and it wasn't intentional. But you have Gruters leading the charge. You have certain people that are all Trump.
And what place
Uh,
does Gruters hold in the state party?
well, right now he's the former chair, and he is literally he's literally the senator. He's a senator, so he has a lot of power in this thing. And DeSantis decided to veto every single one of his bills, so maybe that would make him a little bit. Oh, but that was because he was a Trump supporter. See, this is where the politics gets into it. That's where it's like, uh, okay, come on, guys, get out of kindergarten. Let's let's get off of the playground and get some work
Well,
done.
speaking of, state senators and everything, and it's quoted in this article that, there's no love lost between the legislature and Ron DeSantis. And there seems to be some pushback on how he bulldozed a lot of his agenda through the legislature. And, some of the legislators feel a little remiss by the fact that, they didn't get the chance to reap the benefits of a lot of this work done in this last session.
But that's interesting because the only two people that didn't reap benefit from this last session would be Reuters and Wilton Simpson. Those are the only two that got shellacked on the vetoes. So I would say that it didn't sound like the speaker had any ill conceptions, or the House the Senate leader had anything bad to say, because they got everything they needed accomplished. So whoever they're trying to get in the political article that says that, it's kind of odd. It's kind of odd because only two people failed, and they were both Donald Trump supporters.
Well, speaking of speakers, the incoming speaker of the Florida House, Representative Daniel Perez, a Miami Republican, did say that the problem with wielding the power of government like a hammer is that the people start looking like nails. And so he said that his comment was not a message to the governor. However, that being said, quote, the legislature can't work alone. The legislature works with the governor. Okay.
I see that. I mean, next speaker, he made it perfectly. He made a great comment because he's right. If eventually the Republican Party continues down the path it's going to go, it's been going, then we're taking advantage of the citizenship. We can't continue to think that our agenda is the only agenda. You got to be listening, and I think that's what I hear from his comments. Is you got to start listening a little bit more carefully to the people. And that's my perspective of reading that comment.
Right. Dan, your final word?
I think it's important to continue to watch this closely. I think that if there's something that comes up in the future that shows more proof of this being a reality, then I think it's something that we'll talk about again. But I think for now, there's not enough. I don't know if it's based enough in reality to make this assumption that the entire party feels one way until we have more to roll with. But I do agree that we need to listen closely to the people, but that you need to get out and let your opinion be heard at the same time. So I think it's going to be interesting to continue to watch.
My assessment back in May of this year was that this campaign is over. I still stand by those words. Major donors, big donors, have said that they're going to sit on the sideline. We have leaders in the party who will remain anonymous are saying that they're waiting for the governor to drop out. He had significant opportunity to get out early, to set the tone of the campaign. The polling numbers show that he missed that opportunity. Yeah, I agree, Joel. The Republican nominee will come out of Florida. It's just that it will not be Ron DeSantis. I still stand by that. There's always that miraculous possibility. Pouring resources into Iowa. However, Iowa does not predict the outcome of the next president. So,
But I totally agree. I just don't see them all, and I think the whole point is what we proved last night is that we have very capable leadership that want to be able to lead our party. We are not in a shortage of leadership. Yes, it was a madhouse last night, but if you're not in it, you can't win it. And if Donald Trump isn't here, we need to be prepared. These are two of the oldest people to ever run for office. There is no guarantee that tomorrow is guaranteed. And that's my final word.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dan, Joel, I'm David. This is the Jay in Washington Network. We appreciate your comments. Please join our community. Share your thoughts in a very respectful and tactful way. We try to get back to all of our comments, likes, and all your sentiments as quickly as we can. We're on all the major socials. Look us up on LinkedIn, Professional Network. We are your political innovators. We're bringing the best people with the best ideas to represent their community. Thank you, John, for producing. Thank you, Kellen. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Kendall, Angelina, to everyone who make Jay in Washington possible. Like, share, hit the notification. We're out.